Imagine waking up on a normal morning, checking the sky and realizing something is wrong. The sun doesn't look yellow. It doesn't look orange. It looks blue. People stop walking. Cars slow down. Everyone looks up silent and confused. This is not science fiction. This is not a movie scene. This actually happened. Today on Factro.com, we explore the true story of the day the sun turned blue. The date was 24th of September 1950. It was a regular weekday. Across the eastern United States and parts of eastern Canada, people began their day as usual. But between 11 am and 4 pm local time, something extraordinary happened. The sunlight changed. The sun's color slowly shifted from its normal appearance to a strange, unnatural blue shade. By afternoon, thousands of people were witnessed the same impossible sight. Reports started coming from the multiple regions at once. People in New York, Pennsylvania, Ontario, New England all described the same phenomena. Some said the sun appeared blue, others said it looked purple or silver. When night arrived, the surprise continued. The moon also appeared blue. This was not a local illusion. It was a large-scale atmospheric event that was happening. People didn't panic. Instead, they were stunned. Workers stepped outside. Children pointed at the sky. Radio stations received non-stop calls. Photographs were taken. Scientists were contacted. Meteorological officers began investigations. The question on everyone's mind was simple. How can the sun change color? Under normal conditions, the sun appears yellow because Earth's atmosphere scattered blue lights. This was why the sky looks blue. For the sun itself to appear blue, the atmosphere must behave in an extremely unusual way. Scientists knew immediately. The sun had not changed. Something between the sun and earth had. Researchers studied air samples and weather data. They discovered microscopic particles suspended high in the atmosphere. These particles were smaller than typical dust, large enough to filter light. Instead of blocking the blue light, they blocked red and yellow wavelengths. As a result, blue lights passed through more easily. This made the sun appear blue, which the world observed from the ground. The next mystery was the source of these particles. Scientists traced them back to the massive forest fire in the western Canada. The smoke traveled over 3,000 kilometers, crossing the continent. As the smoke aged, its particles changed in the size and behavior. By the time it reached the eastern regions, it had transformed the sky itself. Nature had created a natural light filter. Forest fires happen every year. Smoke travels across the continents all the time. So why did this event stand out? Because everything aligned perfectly. The fires were unusual instance. The smoke rose extremely high into the atmosphere. Wind pattern carried it thousands of kilometers without despairing, and the particles sized reached a very specific range, small enough to stay suspended, but large enough to selectively filter sunlight. This combination was incredibly rare. That's why most people will never see a blue sun in their lifetime. This event wasn't just remembered, it was recorded. Newspapers publishing the eyewitnessing accounts. Meteorological journals documented the data. Photographs, black and white, grainy but authentic, showed a dim, unnatural sun hanging in the sky. Scientists from Harvard, MIT, and Environment Canada studied the phenomena in detail. Their conclusion was clear. This was a real, measurable atmospheric event, not hysteria, not illusion, not exaggeration. As night fell, people expected more skies to return. They didn't. The moon rose and it was blue too, not bright white, not yellow. A cold steel blue glow. This confirmed something important. The filtering effect was still active. The particles had not settled. They were still suspended miles above the earth. The sky itself had become a lens, changing how humans show the universe. Psychologists later studied public reactions. Surprisingly, there was no mass panic, no chaos, no fear. Instead, people reported silence. The human brain pauses. People did not scream, they stirred. The sky reminded them nature is always in control. Yes, but only a few times blue suns and purple moons were reported. In Europe, after major volcanic eruptions, following massive wildfires in Australia, after the eruption of Krakatoa in 1883, each time the cause was the same. Tiny atmospheric particles filtering the sunlight, but none were as widely observed or as well documented as the event of September 24, 1950. Today, wildfires are becoming more frequent, more intense, more widespread. Scientists now warn events like this could happen again, not a miracle, but as symptoms. A blue sun is beautiful, but it also a reminder that Earth's atmosphere is fragile. What we saw in 1950 may not stay rare forever. On September 24, 1950, the sun didn't change. Physics didn't fail. Reality didn't break. But human perception did. For a few hours, the sky rewrote the rules. And millions of people learned something unforgettable. Even the most familiar object in our lives can look completely alien when nature decides to remind us who is really in charge. This was the day the sun turned blue. On that day, 1950, between late morning and evening, people across the eastern United States and Canada looked at the sky and witnessed something unforgettable. The sun turned blue. If you were alive that day, what would have the thought? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoy real events, rare natural phenomena, and unbelievable true stories. Subscribe to Factro.com. This is Swaps and you are watching Factro.com. Until the next fascinating story, goodbye.